say you'll catch me.
Hey guys, Jazz back with another video. In this video, we're gonna go over some guys you probably should tend to avoid in drafts unless they really slip down. Again, there's a value versus what I think he's gonna put up. So if he's going like super high, I'm gonna tell you the guys who are going way high for what they should be producing this year, and the guys who are going under what they'll actually produce this year. So I told a couple of you guys I was gonna do this video, and also I told I said I was gonna start a fantasy league, which I am. I'm probably gonna start it off in like a week or two. I already got a couple guys that were on Twitch supporting the Twitch stream, and we came up with the idea to do it, and I'm already gonna invite those two. So if any of you guys are interested in joining a fantasy league, let me know down below, and I'll see what I can do to get you guys in. We are gonna do a fantasy football. I'm gonna give you some tips, guys who are going super low. I'm gonna give you some advice. All right. So we're gonna start with the quarterbacks, and this right here is just like where they're averagely going, and this tells you like what pick they're going. I'm just going to let you guys what quarterbacks I think are going a little bit too low that you might want to jump on. Me personally, I don't like taking these quarterbacks, so I won't be in the money for any of these quarterbacks because I like to take my quarterbacks later on the draft. I prefer take quarterbacks 8th, 9th, 10th round. Why? Because in the 8th, 9th, 10th round, you can still get guys like Alex Smith, who's usually a top 10 quarterback. You can get a lot of value at the end of the draft, and I'd rather stack up on running backs and wide receivers like I mentioned in the previous draft. Ben Roethlisberger goes like 8th to 10th round. You get a lot of value. Jared Goff. And to me, the guys who are going too high, it's probably Deshaun Watson. He shouldn't be going that high. He's the 4th quarterback off the board. Russell Wilson is 5th. Russell Wilson should be up here. In terms of fantasy, he is the premier fantasy quarterback, in my opinion, just because of what he can do with his legs, the rushing touchdowns, the rushing yards, and he puts up big numbers in the passing game. And his defense is bad this year. So he's going to be putting up, he was the #1 fantasy quarterback, I believe, last year. And the defense is just as bad, or if not worse, this year. So Russell Wilson's going to have to put up a lot of points. So as long as the offensive line is a little shaky, so you got to be worrisome about that because the offensive line could get him hurt. But I would take him, he will be my #1 quarterback. So if you're down there like in the 5th, 6th round, I wouldn't mind you taking Russell Wilson. To me, he's the #1 quarterback over these guys. But again, I don't take quarterbacks high, so I'm not in the money for any of these. Deshaun Watson is going too high. The rest of these guys, not too much. I think Andrew Luck is going too high. And some of the drafts, I've been doing a lot of mock drafts lately. He's been falling because nobody wants to touch this guy. So maybe you can get him super late. But again, I don't like to take 2 quarterbacks, and I wouldn't go into the season that this guy's my starting quarterback just because he's sketchy. Unless something happens that I miss out on a lot of these high quarterbacks. But you can see, look at where Phillip Rivers is averaging in the 10th round. Like Phillip Rivers is one of the top fantasy quarterbacks. He's gonna put up big numbers. So again, based on how this is going, these guys are drafted, like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is you're definitely Dak Prescott over in fantasy over Jared Goff and Phillip Rivers. These two guys who are going to probably be pushing for MVPs, and that's one of my sleepers is Jared Goff this year. He's going really late in picks. I think he'll be an MVP candidate this year. I think he's going to put up a monster season. We got a lot of weapons, monster year, and he's going to be thrown to one guy who I'm going to tell you is another sleeper. So, again, a lot of quarterbacks you get late on the draft. Jared Goff is going to have a big year. I'm telling you, he's going to stay healthy because how he plays in the pocket, he's very smart. He'll stay healthy. He's going to put up huge numbers with all the weapons he has, and he's going to get the ball back a lot because the defense is filthy in St. Louis. I was about to say St. Louis in LA. Oh, my God. Almost messed it up. I think I did it on purpose. Now, a guy who I want to stay away from, LeVeon Bell. And I'm not saying don't draft LeVeon Bell. What I'm saying is don't take LeVeon Bell if you have the #1 pick. Don't take Le'Veon Bell if you have the #2 pick. If you have the #3 pick, that's when Le'Veon Bell, especially in PPR, starts to be a consideration. Now, if you're in non-PPR, I would take Ezekiel Elliott over him easily. So these are the top 4 quarterbacks. These are going interchangeable. They're pretty close. I don't understand why a lot of people are saying that Le'Veon Bell's in a contract year, so he's going to put up a monster year. I don't think so. Le'Veon Bell's going to hold out the whole preseason, right? He's going to come in when the season starts. It's similar to Aaron Donald. Probably sit out the first game. So already one game he might sit out or be very limited. Similar to Aaron Donald where he just didn't play the first game and he started the second game and he was limited in the second game. So be careful with Le'Veon Bell. Another thing is when guys hold out, they usually pull like hamstrings or some type of muscle. If Le'Veon Bell gets hurt, everybody knows he's a great back. Everybody knows he still has it. If he pulls something, what makes you think he's gonna rush to come back on the field when he's already not 100% and risk himself getting blown out his knee or something like that? And then when he goes into free agency, he's not gonna get no money because we know the Steelers aren't gonna pay him, so he's gonna be a free agent next year. He knows he's gonna be a free agent next year. Yes, he wants to put up a good season, but he's not gonna fight through injuries in order to do so and risk further injuries. So. And again, the less carries on the back, the more mileage on the back, the less valuable they are. So he doesn't want to get all these carries and stuff like that. Why? Because the less valuable he's going to be, because the more they look at the mileage. It's similar to a car. When you're looking at running backs, you look at their miles and be like, he has a lot of miles on the legs. So I'd be worried about Le'Veon Bell, especially in the beginning of the year. And also he can injure himself. And again, if he was probably going to miss a game, maybe he'll miss 2 or 3 because he's going to come back. He's going to wait till he's fully healthy. He doesn't have to have 1,500-yard season. He just has to, when he is there, produce at a high level and show that he still has it. He doesn't have to play every single game. So be careful with Le'Veon Bell. I would take him number 4. I'll probably take the other 3 running backs ahead of him. I'll probably have it ranked Todd Gurley, David Johnson, Ezekiel Elliott, and Le'Veon Bell in PPR. And if it's non-PPR, then Zeke probably be number 2. But just because, like I said, he can't be franchised anymore, I believe so. So he's definitely a free agent next year. So Le'Veon Bell, be careful with Le'Veon Bell. I'm not saying not to draft him, but I had the 4th pick and he was there. I'm drafting him. What I'm saying is taking him number 1 overall because you don't want a guy who's going to be missing half the year probably or something like that. So be careful, which any of these guys can. But again, by all the stuff that I laid out, be careful with that guy. Some of the running backs that are going pretty high was Le'Veon Bell. I don't think there's that many sleeper running backs. There's some sleeper running backs. Obviously, anybody could be a sleeper. You get some of these rookies or something. I think Jordan Howard, maybe he's going a little bit lower. You'd be a little bit afraid of LaShawn McCoy. He has some legal issues, so he's a little worrisome. I'd probably take Howard, probably put Howard ahead of Devontae Freeman. I'll probably put him like 12 or something like that. I like Jordan Howard ahead of these guys right here. And up to Devontae Freeman. I'll still take McCaffrey over him, but I would definitely move Howard up. So he's one. Kenyon Drake is on the rise. I mean, I'm hearing big things that he's looking really good out there in Miami. So watch out for Kenyon Drake. Again, a lot of the rookies, Penny, like a lot of these rookies, Carlos Hyde is going really low. Don't be surprised if he beats the bell cow there in Cleveland. If they start playing good defense, they got leads. They're going to feed Carlos Hyde the ball. He had a really good year. When he's healthy, he's one of the top tier backs. Carlos Hyde is one to look out for him. Again, like a lot of the rookies and stuff is something to look out for. You want to draft some consistent. Hopefully, you would draft like running backs in the first 3 rounds, 2 running backs. Get some of these guys up here that are really good, and then get yourself like a rookie or something who you think is going to have a good year. Like later on in the year, once he settles down, he'll have a big year. Get some of those rookies, but like Rashad Penny, Tyreek Cohen, maybe if this guy gets hurt again. Get some of these backups that their starters are injury prone. That's another good idea. But running back, there's nothing super crazy that I think is crazy that he's going so low. Wide receivers, obviously you'll take AB first. He gets a lot of catches. Julio Jones, I'd probably take DeAndre Hopkins over him. I'll slide him a little bit down. Julio's just too big, boomer bust for me. He will have like 40 points 1 week and then have like 6 or 7. DeAndre Hopkins will give you more consistent play. That's what I look for, more consistent players. But again, if he drops down at the end of the first round, you're taking Julio. But I'm just saying I'll take DeAndre over him. Nothing too major there. Be careful of Keenan Allen. He has a big injury history. He was healthy all last year, but again, 2 years straight, he missed almost the whole season. So be careful with Keenan Allen. Very injury-prone wide receiver. Devontae Adams, I was big on him last year. He had a big year, so, you know, he's right where he's going. And I'm trying to look at some of these wide receivers. Doug Baldwin, I think, is one that's going. I'll take probably Doug Baldwin ahead of. I'll probably put him at like number 10 or 9. I'd probably put Doug Baldwin up here because, again, I think their quarterback is going to have a nasty year. Number 1 wide receiver is going to put up nasty stats. So, obviously, I'll put Doug Baldwin in this range, not in that range. So, I got him going around ahead of what he's going right now because I think Doug Baldwin is going to produce more points than these guys right here, in my opinion. Brandon Cooks is one that I wouldn't think to draft because they're putting him up because he's the number 1 wide receiver, but I don't think he's going to put up the most points on the team. I'm pretty in tune with what's going to go on, and I don't think Brandon Cooks is going to put up the most points, fantasy points. So maybe drop him down a little bit. Hogan, the beginning of the year, is going to put up some numbers, so you draft him early in the year without this guy. What's the other wide receiver who's tested positive PEDs. He's suspended. So Robert Woods is one that I wouldn't. I mean, they're good, but they're not like starting, in my opinion, starting calibers fantasy wide receivers. Robert Woods, no. The guy who's going later on in the draft, to me, one of the biggest steals right now, going almost like in the 8th, 9th round, is Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp is going to have a almost top 10 type, definitely top 15 type of season. Draft Cooper Kupp. I'm telling you, won't be disappointed. He had some ridiculous college numbers last year. If he would have played the last game of the season when they sat all the starters, he would have had the most receiving yards as a rookie last year. This guy's gonna have like 90-something balls. Now that Sammy Watkins isn't there, I think he's gonna get a lot more of the red zone targets. So look for his touchdowns, take a jump. I'm thinking like 90 catch 90 balls, 1,100, 1,200 yards, and 8 touchdowns is like the minimum that he's gonna put up. 90. Like 1,200 and 8 or 9 touchdowns. That is projection-wise up here. Like 2nd, 3rd round type wide receiver. Again, I'm not saying take him 2nd or 3rd round. If you see him and he's getting close to getting drafted, you might want to pull the trigger on him around earlier than wait and somebody else gets him. I'm telling you, Cooper Kupp is the steal of this year's wide receivers draft. Will Fuller is one that you can also look at too. He had some big numbers with the quarterback last year before he got hurt. So that's one to look out for. Devontae Parker, he's not the true number 1, no more Jarvis Landry. He's always been hyped up. This may be the year everybody's off of him. Like 10th round, Devontae Parker, you take a flyer on him. He's the number 1 wide receiver in Miami. If the quarterback ever figures it out, he's going to be number 1 target. Could have a big year. So again, try to look at that. I like to take wide receivers who have good quarterbacks because I feel more secure about them. That's why Antonio Brown is a really safe bet. Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins kind of hurts him, but he's so consistent no matter who you throw out. That's why he's he might be the best wide receiver in the game because he plays with some shitty quarterbacks and he puts up numbers consistently every freaking game. So no matter the quarterback, he puts up numbers no matter what. Not a big Eli guy. Phillip Rivers is a beast. Drew Brees is a beast. That's why I'm not a big Green fan. I usually shy away. I like Adams because of Rodgers. Rodgers is going to put up a lot of touchdowns and a lot of yards. So again, I like quarterbacks who have really good. Wide receivers that have really good quarterbacks. Same thing with tight ends. Now we go tight ends. I don't like to draft tight ends early, as I've told you guys in other videos. So these guys will be off the books. I think they go way too high. I'm not drafting tight ends. I just don't like to. I'm trying to look at some steals. Some people to stay away from, obviously. But he's going so low this year, Jordan Reed, that I don't think he's like somebody to stay away from. I think at that value, he's really good for his injury risk because he's a top 5, top 3 tight end when healthy, fantasy-wise. He's going pretty low, so I think that's good value for what he can potentially be. But he's often injured. I really like Trey Burton. I'm not super excited. And Njoku, I like. It's just the quarterback situations. I'm not a big fan of these guys, but they're going to get a lot of targets because these are young quarterbacks. Usually once the rookie gets in there, there's going to be a lot. Eifert usually puts up monster numbers when healthy. Again, when healthy, he's often not injured. I think he's one of the biggest steals in the draft, along with Cooper Kupp. Another one who's a huge steal is George Kittle's. I'm hearing he's looking amazing, and he's catching deep balls. George Kittle's 49ers. He's catching a lot of deep balls, so that's another one you want to keep an eye on. If Garoppolo turns into the GOAT, George Kittle's will be the recipient of a lot of touchdowns and a lot of yards. So that's one to look out for as well. There's a lot of tight ends, I think, really good tight ends. Tyler Eifert, Kittles, Reed is going really low this year. So a lot of good tight ends, a lot of value at the tight end position, in my opinion. So again, guys, these were a few players. You guys let me know if you want me to let you know what I think of a certain player or something that you're looking at to draft or something. Leave them down below. Maybe a potential sleeper or something that you have, and maybe I could look into it. Or a guy who you plan on drafting really high, you think if it's smart to draft him there. Ask any questions you guys want. And again, if you guys want to join the fantasy football league that we're going to do, leave it down below, and I'll try to see what I can do to get as many of you in there as possible. That's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please make sure to leave a like down below. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe. Till next time, guys.